The medical examiner takes the stand.
It shows the gunshot wound
In the Ahmaud Arbery case. Doctors in Florida with an over-the-counter solution.
You know what? Not me.
To reduce the risk of opioid addiction. And a world-class World Cup qualifier between two of soccer's biggest rivals. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Good morning, South Florida. I'm Danelle Dukin.
And I'm Alejandra Garcia. Today's Wednesday, November 17th, 2021.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Tough testimony in the Ahmaud Arbery case as a medical examiner is called to the stand and he delivers graphic details. The state of Georgia has now rested its case.
The network's Christopher Gomez is in the control center as the defense team prepares to make its case today.
Danelle, Alejandro, that's right. In the trial of 3 white men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery, the county medical examiner took the stand on the 8th day of the trial and delivered pretty graphic testimony. Take a look.
A critical witness takes the stand.
it shows the gunshot wound.
Jurors hearing graphic testimony from the medical examiner who performed an autopsy on Ahmaud Arbery after his death.
The hand was in front of the chest and was struck first, and then it entered the body.
Edmond Donoghue describing severe wounds that were caused by 3 gunshot blasts and testifying that no matter what life-saving measure police attempted on the scene, Arbery would still have died.
And they couldn't do anything about the bleeding as long as the heart was beating.
3 white men, Travis McMichael, his father Greg McMichael, and their neighbor William Rhodey Bryan, face felony murder and other charges in the February 2020 shooting of the 25-year-old in Brunswick, Georgia. They claimed they were trying to make a citizen's arrest because they suspected Arbery of entering a vacant home following a string of neighborhood break-ins.
Not granting a mistrial.
Tuesday's testimony follows a tense day in the courtroom. On Monday, civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson was there with Arbery's mother, prompting the defense to once again call for a mistrial. The judge refused that and rebuked an earlier request to remove black pastors from the court.
Then we start getting into what we have now with individual members or individuals coming into the courtroom. I will say that is directly in response, Mr. Goff, to statements you made, which I find reprehensible.
State prosecutors have said while Arbery was seen inside the unsecured home on several occasions, he never stole anything or damaged any property. Reporting in the control center, I'm Christopher Gomez. Alejandra?
Day 2 of jury deliberation in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial begins later this morning. In day 1 yesterday, jurors asked the judge for extra copies of the jury instructions. Attorneys for the 18-year-old say he was defending himself when he shot 3 people in Kenosha, Wisconsin, killing 2 of them. The victims were protesting the August 2020 police shooting death of Jacob Blake.
President Biden heads to Detroit today to continue discussing his infrastructure plan. Last night, the president arrived back at the White House after a similar trip in New Hampshire. While in Detroit today, he will visit General Motors and then address the media.
2 of soccer's biggest rivals taking the pitch as Argentina hosted Brazil in a World Cup qualifier. No highlights here, but don't worry, there would not have been many of them to show you. The game, which was last night at Bicentennial Stadium in San Juan, Argentina, ended in a 0-0 tie.
Florida Panthers for the win last night against the New York Islanders. In the second period, the Panthers' Aaron Ekblad scored a goal, stretching the Panthers' lead to 5-0. Florida going on to win the game 6-1. It's the franchise's 900th regular season win. The Panthers will host the New Jersey Devils tomorrow night.
It's time to say goodbye to the Staples Center in Los Angeles, its name at least. As the 20-year contract closes up, Crypto.com is buying up the naming rights. Believed to be the largest naming rights deal, the home of the Lakers, Clippers, and Kings is going to be renamed Crypto.com Arena. The deal, which is worth $700 million, follows a Miami Heat deal to name its arena FTX after a cryptocurrency exchange.
An announcement on both boosters and antivirals that can come down this week.
That's still ahead on Source's story.
Witness people lose their jobs, lose their marriages, and their life.
The U.S. hitting a record number of reported drug overdose deaths in this year, leading doctors to look for an over-the-counter alternative to opioids. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? the kind to hug, or the kind to climb. Doesn't matter which you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Bill is a family man. He invests his money wisely and provides a good life for his children. Just one problem. He often opens emails from senders he doesn't know, and his computer is not password protected. One day, Bill checked his bank account and 94% of malware attacks originate from emails. Don't be like Bill. Take your cybersecurity seriously.
I help our fellows design their paths as creative entrepreneurs. My experiences serving startups, creative businesses, and cultural organizations, and my journey as a queer mixed immigrant with Haitian and Arabic roots, inform the co-creative environment we foster at Radcliffe. We leverage our collective diversity to encourage the building of lifelong personal learning networks and mindsets that stimulate continuous innovation.
COVID-19 has changed how we stomp the yard and feel the beat. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts. As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Is it safe?
Should I get it? Is it free? It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your fam.
Fear of opioid addiction after surgery is leading doctors here in Florida to look for an alternative. During the pandemic, the U.S. hit a record number of reported drug overdose deaths in a 12-month period.
The CDC says opioids accounted for most of those deaths, but some are now choosing opioid alternatives after surgery.
It's a crisis, more drug overdose deaths than ever, that may be causing many to rethink using opioids for pain control.
As patients to say, you know what, not me.
Andrea Hurt witnessed firsthand the toll opioid addiction can take. That's why she chose other painkillers after gallbladder surgery in March.
Witness people lose their jobs, lose their marriages, and their life.
Her procedure was done at Orlando Health. The Florida hospital has been giving patients over-the-counter pain medicine after surgery.
The effect many times is just as good or even stronger than opioids alone.
Surgeon Luke Elms says a combination of acetaminophen, ibuprofen, and muscle relaxers after surgery provides pain relief without the risk of addiction or side effects.
Alternative, properly educate them on the risks of opioids and really make a concerted effort. We can really start to hopefully turn off the spigot that is the opioid crisis.
Her says she didn't even end up using a muscle relaxer.
I managed my pain with Tylenol and ibuprofen. I knew I had surgery, but I was not suffering.
Provisional data released last month from the CDC shows there were more than 96,000 overdose deaths between March 2020 to March 2021, an increase of nearly 30%.
Pfizer is seeking emergency use authorization for its boosters for all adults. The FDA says its vaccine advisors will not meet to discuss the matter, which means the FDA's decision on authorization could be soon. And a source says the White House is finalizing a contract to purchase 10 million doses of the drug, and an official announcement is expected next week.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Alejandra Garcia.
And I'm Danelle Dukin. Be sure to get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.